we're joined by Editor-in-Chief Moegsien who's Editor-in-Chief for The New Age as well as ANN7. So a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. With journalism, or ethical journalism, journalists have to take, responsibility for the accuracy, really, of their work and verifying information before releasing it and making sure that whatever sources are original. We've seen a number of stories surrounding the Gupta name, the Gupta family. What do you make of this particular one?
Well, it's despairing for me as an editor of many years to see where our journalism have gone in terms of coverage of events in our country. The Guptas are being considered as fair game, and nowadays you can come up with any kind of rumor, you come up with any kind of innuendo or any leak to a journalist. They're quite happy and prepared to run the stories as if they are fact. Nowadays we have a situation where rumors are put to people and it comes with a denial, and that's turned into a story, a rumor and a denial, and it's turned into a story. It's a very unfortunate situation that has arisen. There's an unfortunate belief among newspapers, especially seeing that you're quoting newspapers earlier on, that the Guptas sell headlines. Gupta headlines sell newspapers, So regardless of the facts, as long as you can get Gupta into the headline, you hope to sell a newspaper. So you're absolutely right about the ethics of journalism, where people are not prepared to check the facts, not prepared to go and find different sources. As with the story about the Guptas fleeing South Africa, those were the other headlines. As shown, there were more people on the plane that left. Family went actually to a wedding in Turkey. There were more people on the plane than pieces of luggage, as alleged by the city press. So it's a very sad situation in terms of where our journalism has gone.
We're seeing a number of opposition MPs who, throw out information and that's taken as fact. How do you then remove the politics of it all and constantly questioning certain departments?
It may just be coincidence, or it may not be a coincidence that the person who asked this question in Parliament of SARS, of the Treasury, was a member of the opposition. And one gets the feeling, and I don't want to use too strong a word here, but that the media and the opposition seemingly are in cahoots. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about how can they attack President Jacob Zuma directly, and more generally, how can they attack the African National Congress, of which he's the leader. That's ultimately what it's all about. And of course, the Guptas are seen as a way to attack the president. And it seems to me that anything goes when it comes to just launching those attacks. And there seems to be and without being conspiratorial about it, a kind of a link between the opposition and certain sections of the media, and prepared to operate on just rubbish in terms of I read a report on the SARS matter today, and Julius Malema at some press conference spoke about President Zuma carrying 6 billion rand out of the country in his jet. Now 6 billion, the biggest denomination we have is a 200 rand note, so that would be 3 million notes. That I don't know I don't know whether he carried in his overnight bag or but in his jet he carried 6 billion to take to Dubai. I read in an independent online report today speaking about Julius Malema's allegation, without saying that it is untrue, that we have checked it not to be true, that the presidency in fact has denied it, and that the Gupta family has denied it as complete and utter rubbish. There's just a line that says Malema made this allegation. In other words, make up your own mind as to whether there was a 6 billion rand taken out of the country. SARS, of course, have now today said, it's absolute rubbish. And you had reports about the Guptas buying big mansions in Dubai, and again, it must have been that 6 billion was used to buy these big houses in Dubai. It's a sad state of our journalism where facts are not properly checked, based on rumors, and people just publish them.
Then let's talk about responsibility when it comes to providing context and making sure that things are not misrepresented. Not only that, but in gathering and updating correct information. In making sure the life of a story is as is, it's truthful. Pardon me. Who then takes the responsibility of that information? Because at some point, the buck has to stop with someone.
But the editor, yeah.
Yes.
And the worry I would have is when I looked at the Malema statement. My own training as an editor and my instincts told me what utter rubbish. Some editors, unfortunately, are not applying that instinct. They are not looking at how do we verify this particular statement as whether it's factual or not. A preparedness to go with the statement and with the wrong facts in a story because it's a Gupta family. I call it the Mugabe syndrome in journalism. You can say anything about President Robert Mugabe. You can say that he ate 2 babies for breakfast this morning and people will believe it.
Someone will believe it. That's very true. So do you think eventually that the hype around the Gupta name, the Gupta family, will die down as over time, as with anything dies down eventually?
Look, I'm sure the family would wish for that. We are, part of a company in which the Guptas are a main shareholder, also would wish that we can normalize our activities as a business and as an organization. So hopefully, when our politics change, maybe in the next 18 months,
as they probably will, yes.
Yeah, we hope that things will die down. But the kind of coverage of the family has been absolutely extraordinary over the last period. It's unbelievable actually. And then our journalism that has suffered as a result.
Thank you so much to Moegsien Williams, who is editor-in-chief for AN7 as well as the New Age.